Hello, hello, hello. Hi, you guys. Welcome to Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson. I'm your host, Dr. Lakanda Jefferson, and today we're going to talk a little bit about some physical insecurities in which, present in some women today. Um, and the way that women, you know, present themselves. Apparently, this has been raised as a concern by self-proclaimed relationship guru, coach, consultant, whatever it is. And there were some other questions that was raised by my producer, and I'm going to answer those questions too, as to the qualifications of a person that you're seeking help from, advisement from, and things like that. I'm going to answer those questions as well today. If you guys are viewing me for the very first time, just understand that Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson is a channel in which we discuss controversial issues, sometimes difficult topics around issues that affect the Black and Brown community here and abroad, and some of the issues that are taking place outside of the United States. So, without further ado, we're going to jump into this conversation. We're going to have a brief talk about what a BBL is, I guess, because some people are saying, I don't know what that is, and I don't know how it is that you don't know what it is, but we're going to go ahead and talk about it today. A BBL is a Brazilian butt lift. Mm-hmm. Hmm. I thought it was interesting when this came about, and I think it was last night Kevin Samuel's show kind of highlights some of the things or unnatural things that black women do. But Brazilian butt lifts are they're pretty popular amongst people from this generation of women or whatever. And we have a fatality rate when performing these different BBLs of about 1 in 3,000 or so. Okay. However, um, there are not many women who are dying from this versus other controversial surgeries. So basically, when a procedure is performed for a Brazilian butt lift in the incorrect way, and this is what typically leads to death, the injected fat, because that's what it uses, injected fat cells, they can enter the larger veins in the buttocks and then travel their way to the person's lungs. And then as a result, they have respiratory distress and ultimately they die from pulmonary distress. And that's just the stress of the lungs. So that's typically the number one reason why women who do typically have BBLs, if they do pass away, that's one of the reasons why. However, it is a more common surgery, you know, it's pretty common. Um, and some people go back and they get it, a couple of times over the course of 5 or 10 years or whatever. Um, People are typically told that the results from a BBL can last from several months long to years long. But most people start to notice a serious declination in the amount of butt fat they have over the first 9 months or so. Most people that I've seen have it done, um, and they come back after the 6 months. A lot of times, those women are already scheduling another surgery, and typically they're scheduling that surgery out for another 18 months or so. But so, um, I don't know, why it's so popular. I can't answer that question because I'm not a person who does body alterations. And I'm not going to speak too much to it becoming a psychological issue in women in general because it is pretty common. Um, I'm not a person who can, you know, comment either way on it as to how it is. I know Kim Kardashian is a person that has had it. I know Melissa, what's her name? Melissa Care. I know that she's had it. Lee Cambridge. Um, and those, I know Melissa and Lee Cambridge, those are two people that I know have passed away from it. Um, but I feel like the people who have passed away, they got it done by a botched surgeon or illegally. And as a result, you know, I guess people assume the risk. They know what the risks are and they get it at their own risk. So, but a part of this conversation is the fact that women are altering themselves so much that they have a lack of authenticity when they come into a relationship with the men that they tether themselves to. So, in this video that I'm going to show, that's one of the complaints. It's one of the complaints because men are feeling like they're catfished in a way. They don't get the real version of the woman that they're vying for. And a woman's vitality and beauty is supposed to be something that is kind of scaled up high, and that's what most men are after. I guess I don't know. I don't know. I've never had any work, so I thought it was interesting when I found that what's her name, Blue Jasmine had work at her young age. I just feel like sometimes women are just doing way too much, but who am I to judge? So it's a pretty short clip, you guys. This is going to be a pretty short video. It's raining here in Atlanta, so let's come down and hit this play button.
Meaning, if you were born and you were a natural beauty, your family still made sure you knew how to cook, clean, take care of a man, be a wife. I want you guys to think about the Vanessa Williams character in Soul Food. There was Vanessa, there was Vivica, and there was Nina. All of those women were beautiful, but Vanessa was arguably the finest of them all, and she was the most educated, but she still knew how to cook.
I had an 8-year stretch where I averaged 270 dates a year.
Who works harder than pro wrestlers?
They go, he's broken his neck.
Whether she could, and she was married. But today the question is, are pretty women above having to work, hustle, and compete to keep a man, not to get a man? I'm going to assume that women in this category have no problem attracting men. But what we're starting to see today is a lot of pretty women who are not wives. Point blank, period, end of sentence. I don't care why it is. I don't care who hurt your feelings. I don't care how many times you've been engaged. I don't care what this was supposed to be or what this is supposed to be. If you make it into your 30s plus and you are a pretty woman and not a wife, that's unusual. And you've got to drop a lot of it at the women's feet today. We got to at least ask the question, do modern women really think pretty privilege is enough? Or what else do you bring to the table? I'm going to give you a personal anecdote. I've always dealt with attractive women. It's just my thing. But I was talking to a friend the other day and I was like, it's amazing how do I want to say this? Women of a certain stature don't feel like they have to do anything except be pretty, for the most part. Cook, clean, do whatever. Now, the expectations, whether overt or whether directly spoken or not, they expect everything. You want filet mignon and steak and crab and diamonds and Ferraris and this and that. But pretty fades. And the thing is, today's pretty women seem to only think all they have to do is bring pretty to the table. And I got news for you, ladies. It has never been enough. It's never been enough, and it won't be enough, because there's an old saying when they used to have the Sports Illustrated swimsuit models. There was a movie back in the 80s called 10 starring Bo Derek. She was supposed to be the perfect 10. And there was a caption under that picture of her stepping out of the ocean. It says somewhere somebody is sick of her shit too. Meaning that after the pretty wears off, after the new wears off, you're just a woman, a better looking woman. And if you're a pretty woman and you don't bring anything to the table other than you're pretty and
I'm a PhD.
And your job or your this, your that, then how do you expect to keep a man? Because I want you guys to really think about this. How often do you see women who are 6, that's cute, adjustable 6, that can go from cute to pretty, 8, pretty, beautiful, or gorgeous, 8 to 9 and 10, and you think about it. How many times do you see a woman who is a 6, adjustable 6, 8, 9, or even 10, and you are starting to see the majority of these women unmarried, not even divorced, unmarried? It was such an issue that I went down in Houston talking about pretty professional problems. So ladies, what is it? Because really, I'm gonna tell you, when I talk to guys behind the scenes, men behind the scenes of all races, what they tend to say is, today pretty women think that all I have to do is be pretty. Just be pretty. Be pretty and spend my money. Be pretty, spend my money, and then your job description is to look good and then have sex. And when men are being honest, they'll say the sex ain't that great. I mean, it's good with some of them, but it's not that great. It's not the best you ever had. And even if it's mind-blowing, so what? The older you get, the more stuff you got to go, big deal. I'm going to tell you right now, ladies, if your mother, the women in your family did not prep you, teach you how to actually maintain a man's mind and his ego, they just taught you how to maintain his eyes and his penis. Ladies, and here's the funny thing, women who fit into this category, men are wondering, why aren't they married? Women are like, why ain't she married? Everyone would think you should have an easier life, but they don't. Because at the end of the day, far too many of these ladies are worried about themselves. I'm going to say something to you, ladies. You're not going to like it. Far too many modern women are worried about themselves. You're worried about yourselves. You're worried about yourselves. And women who worry about themselves end up by themselves. Women who learn how to put their men above themselves keep men. That's why you're seeing so many women today who can get men but can't keep them, because they're good at attracting. They're good at doing. See, the thing is, pretty privilege has told women that the world, you're beautiful. And because a man wants to have sex with you, and because just with the man that you're with and you're spending time to get to know, you can easily replace him. But yes, that's somebody to have sex with. But somebody to deal with you, this is why it is so important for women to understand that if you're a single woman and you want to be married and you're pretty, you have no excuse. Because you've had plenty of, you're ran by plenty of suitable men, unsuitable men, blah, blah, blah. And don't come in here typing in all caps. Come in here typing in all caps, I'm going to block you. Why is this important? Because it is time for the women who want a different outcome to realize, ladies, especially if you want a man who's productive, competitive, successful, a higher value man, you got to love him more than he loves you. You have to female court him. You have to do more than just sit there and be pretty. That's why there was such an uproar when that woman said, oh, all I got to do is be inspirational. Being inspirational doesn't mean just sit there and be pretty. What's wrong with all caps? I said that's what's wrong with all caps. Anything else? Okay, bye. Play games, go bye. Go back to it. And this is something you should be happy to hear about. You should be happy to hear about this, because women who can attract men but can't keep them, you should be happy to say, oh, maybe this is it. But see, This means that women are going to have to risk
than just being pretty. Because I will say this, it's sad that
Veterans United presents Through the Roof Review.
women waste the pretty. It's sad to see that, but that's what's happening more often today, because today, at least 50 years ago, pretty women were told, you need to learn how to make some food and bake a pie or something. You need to do something. Today, pretty women, you know, this is where that whole New York Times thing, one out of three women expect to, no fair I have, but I do have feedback. What? No. One in three women have admitted to going out on a date just for the meal, having no interest in the man. You have to get on camera.
I'm coming. Absolutely. Hold on. Did not expect you to even accept me.
Okay. What's the feed? Hi, hello.
Hi.
Hi. How old are you?
35.
What's the feedback?
Do you have some?
No, you said no fair, but you have feedback.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I have been married for quite some time.
You still married?
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm not your average. And in that, I mean, I am not your average. I'm not your average Black woman in what you would find. I am, I play in all types of arenas. I work in those arenas. I work in all of those.
Okay, how about this? Do me a favor.
Okay.
Talk to me like I'm 4 or a Cocker Spaniel, because you're not really saying anything.
Okay.
I'm not your average Black woman. I'm not your average Black woman. I play in arenas. I work in arenas. I work in all those arenas. That's nothing.
Fair enough. Let me say this. Whenever most people don't expect to be selected, I was selected. And so I did not expect that at all. So let's go. Ask and I shall answer.
Well, I just wonder what your feedback was. You were talking in the comment section. So you said you're married. How long have you been married?
20 years.
All right. And you said you how old again?
I will let you guess. That
I don't play these games. You either answer my questions or I'll bid you a good night.
43.
Okay. One thing I don't do is I don't do these things.
No,
I don't know you, so you've been married.
We all know this. Keep going.
Well, why do you watch my show?
Because I actually agree with certain things that you say. Not everything. And a lot of people that I speak to don't. And I'm like, no.
Do you have any children?
I've been preaching some of.
Do you have any children? Do you have any children?
I do.
How many?
3.
3. You watch my show. You're a married woman with 3 children because you agree with some of the things I say. What do I say that you agree with?
How we should carry ourselves, how we should treat our men, how we have basically lost ourselves. I'm in for that. I agree with that. I've been saying that for years.
Well, what don't you agree with?
What don't I agree with? I'm not. I can't give you that tonight. I can't give you that.
Well, I will say this though, you've gone from 35 to 43, just like that. That's amazing.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah. It's crazy. I don't like liars. It's the modern woman, y'all. It's the modern woman. She's married 20 years, but she's 35. Oh, 43. Oh, guess. Saying too good for you. Whoever your husband is, God bless him. If you're really married, doubtful. Many women watch my show because they know they've run their lives into a ditch and they're too prideful and too egotistical to actually really seek the help. So they're really trying, a lot of women are trying to do their own work, and which is, you're going to realize you can't do the work yourself. You need somebody to do it. But see, women who truly want a better outcome, check their ego. And see, being pretty is one thing, but having pretty and an ego won't work. Because pretty fades. High value doesn't. I will say this to men and women alike. Anytime you deal with a woman who has ego, leave. It's going to end up badly. Ego will mask itself as masculinity with women, will mask itself as courage with some, but at the end of the day, it's all selfish. If you run into a woman who is pretty and it's all about her, selfish, leave. Whether it's overt or not, leave. Meaning, I will tell you this. Here's what you do. I often talk about this. Everyone, I think, should audit their situations, audit your friendships, audit your interactions. And if you're dealing with anybody outside of a business where you're doing more in a situation to maintain a relationship, pull back and allow the people to catch up. Because one of the work, you'll win. But you got to do the work that the men want. You can't listen to.
Okay, you guys, I'm going to. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about Kevin Samuels, but this is the one that I wanted you guys to see. Okay, I want you to listen to this next caller, and it's interesting because he starts off saying that women have to become and do the work that allows them to become what it is that men want. But just let's just watch this.
Listen to the men. The men will tell you what they want, and then you have to do that up front.
So he says that, and then
Don't waste the pretty. Let's see this.
wait for this call. Wait for this
You just
call.
requested to be on here again. Why are you requesting to be on here and not going on? Okay, I'm gonna put these last two requests up because I did get started a little late, and we're getting to the end of the week, and I got to get ready for tomorrow's show. But I did want to make sure I came on today because we're going to open this part up for YouTube tomorrow. Hello?
Hi,
How are you?
I'm pretty fine.
Good. How old are you?
I'm 33.
All right. What do you got on the subject of pretty privilege? Are pretty women above having to work, hustle, and compete to keep a man? Is being pretty enough?
No, it's not because I'm pretty and I'm single because I'm not accepting of
Okay.
them.
What's is that? Are you in a car or something? Because I hear a phone ringing.
Is what?
I said I hear a phone ringing. Go ahead.
Yeah, my other phone.
Okay.
I got a hotline.
Okay. You said it's not enough because you're single and what?
I said being pretty is not enough for a lot of men because I'm pretty and I'm still single. So
What do you want?
nowadays, I don't know. I really don't know what I want because these men, they don't know what they want. A lot of men don't know what they want in women.
You said you're how old again?
33.
33. So regardless as to what men want, you don't know what you want?
I mean, I know what I want, but
And what is that?
Sir, you just said she needed to want
Guys,
what
remember the
men
first thing I
wanted
said
her
about
to want.
ego? They're not willing to be honest.
To be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what I want in a man. Like, I've been screwed and fucked for so long. I don't know what I want in a man. Like, I literally don't.
Do you have any children?
Yes, I do. She's 5.
Okay. So start with the basics. Do you want to be married?
Of course, who don't want to be married?
Well, I'm
Yes,
talking
I
to
want to
you,
be
and
married.
okay. I've asked you, what do you
I
want?
want to be married before I turn 40.
Okay. Why? Okay. No disrespect, but why is that? Was that so hard for you just to say? Because I've asked you, and you're like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. Then I ask you if you want to be married. You say, of course.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I have
Could
trust.
you? I need you to hold the phone steady. You can't keep moving it all over the place, or set it down somewhere. Were your mother and father married?
Yes.
Are
What?
they
Oh,
still?
my mom and
Okay, you really
father
gotta listen to this. Listen
was
to this, you
married,
guys.
but they separated when I was like a baby and
Mhm.
got with my stepdad. So that's who I know as a father, my stepdad.
Okay. Are their mother and your stepfather still married?
Them two ain't never get married. They just was together for over, I'm 33, for like 20 something years.
You just said your mother and your stepdad. Okay. All right. You just said that your mother and father were not married. Were married for when you were a baby. Then they got divorced.
No, they
Then,
didn't got separated. My mama just recently divorced my dad like 5 years ago. But still, I don't know. That's that situation was crazy. I don't know. But her and my
That's their
stepdad,
business, is what she meant to say.
they've
That's
been
their
together for over
business.
20
What the fuck?
years.
I see your stepfather if they weren't married.
I don't know why they wasn't married. She still was married to
Okay.
my dad.
Did they live in the house together?
Yes.
All right. You have any siblings?
Okay, you guys, I'm gonna say this, okay? There are not too many times that I would say I agree with the what happens in this house stay in this house. But here is the problem. All these kids are calling Kevin Samuels for advice, and obviously no parents ever said to their kids like, what happens in this house will stay in this house. Like, you're not going to be going outside of this house telling my business. I have a real problem with the fact that he asked these very, not just negatively triggering questions, but also he asked all of these intimate details about the way these people's parents' relationships look. And we all know that there are several people that are skeptics of your relationship all around your circle, especially in the 50s. Like, when you're in your 50s and 60s, that's a thing. Like, it's a whole thing. It ain't your business who I'm married to or who I'm not married to or who I got with or if I had kids or didn't have kids, because your ass ain't taking care of them. Why are you drilling these young ladies about what their parents' relationship look like if they're telling you that they don't know what it is that they want from a relationship, and they're not indicating that it has anything to do with the way that their parents' relationships unfolded or didn't unfold? So why are you asking so many invasive questions? Let me man, this guy. We're gonna hit the play button so I can get to where I'm going, so we can have this conversation where he calls all women fake and all that good stuff.
Yes. I have two, but my brother passed away last year.
Sorry to hear that. Your mother has 3 children?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, young lady, just in this little bit of time of talking to you, it's been chaotic. I'm just asking you just the basic stuff about who you are and what you want. And the way you told the story is, yeah, you can't make this shit up, people. You cannot make this shit up. So I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyway. Gentlemen, this is what I mean. The problem today is not with men. The problem in relationships today, I take it back. It doesn't start with men. The problem today in long-term, committed, emotionally profound and significant relationships and or marriage starts firmly with women. That woman came on here talking about, I don't know what I want because the men don't know what they want. Now understand that was a mother. Asked her several times, what do you want? I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, who knows, whatever. Do you want to be married? Of course, who don't want to be married? Were your mother and father married? No, they weren't married. Well, yeah, they were married when I was a baby. Then she got divorced and she got my stepdad and they've been together forever. So how long they been married? Oh, they've been married. I need you ladies who think I may be harsh or think I may be out of pocket or whatever. I want you ladies to understand. If your son were to say, this is the woman I'm bringing home, would you say, all right, son, the son you raised, the son you protected and kept safe, would you be happy or ecstatic that that was a woman that was going to be out there next to your son trying to fight this life? 33, not 23, 33. And now a mother. Why am I saying this? Because what do you want? And that woman is running around just lying. And see, that's why that's why when we talk about looks, and I'm gonna segue into something that's gonna be a little bit of a sensitive area. Ladies, so much of modern women today is fake. You're wearing someone else's hair, fake nails, fake eyelashes, makeup. Women are walking around in disguise. Literal disguise. Part of that is to keep them, it's armor to protect them from the world. So they're walking around with someone else's hair, someone else's nails, long nails, eyelashes, all this makeup. And there's a psychological issue that goes into that. So understand, gentlemen, when you see that, understand you're not getting who that person is. Wow.
All right, so let's talk about this. Thanks for getting to the point very, very much later in the show than what I needed you to, Kevin Samuels. You're very long-winded and ridiculous. Okay, so let's have this discussion. Ladies, guys, do you feel like women are inauthentic in their presentation? And do you feel like women have a problem with false advertisement of self? Like, well, how many guys are out there watching? Let's see. What's our ratio male to female? And females, do you ladies feel like guys are catfishing you out here? Because essentially guys show up with Beijing and all that extra stuff too. All of a sudden all this stuff is dark and it's all black and it's all full. And then after he showers and in the morning you wake up, it's a whole different dude with all types of spots everywhere. So I don't know, you know, what are your thoughts about the amount of enhancement that women um move into adopting, and how we as a culture, right, we've normalized it? So the person who sent me this content and wanted me to say something about it, the one that sent it to me earlier, he specifically wanted to talk about Brazilian butt lifts. He says that women are obsessed with Brazilian butt lifts, and you can't gauge whether a woman is natural or not, but also women are getting so many cosmetic surgeries that you can barely tell what it is that your legacy will look like if you were to have kids with that said woman. And the realities are this, okay? The entertainment industry and the music industry, I feel, is a part of that normalizing this type of behavior. Also, I feel like Kevin Samuels is a person who also normalizes this type of behavior, because as we can see, there are a tremendous amount of women who will continue to call into his show whether or not their narrative fits what he is devaluing or not. They are going to continue to call into his show. And so essentially he's going to continue to insult these women, and he's going to continue to paint a picture that investments in your body is an investment in your high value man. I don't think that he sees that in his rhetoric happening, because it looks like he's genuinely confused. It really does. So a woman can have long nails, right? These are, by the way, these are my nails. Hello. A woman can have long nails and not have to have fake nails. Your nails grow naturally. A woman can have long hair. Your hair grows naturally. Okay. What I'm trying to say is this: some of the things that women do can sometimes depict a different or paint a different picture, but it doesn't make so big of a difference that, you'd be completely taken aback when you see her regular self, as opposed to the things that males do to enhance themselves. Now, I typically don't approve of male to female comparisons, but when you talk about personal enhancements, everybody's going to do a personal enhancement things. And now, when he goes to the point of talking about it being a psychological issue, where he has no expertise in, but that's definitely my field of expertise. That's what I want to kind of address. So there is something called body dysmorphic disorder, and body dysmorphic disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder related to body dysmorphia or other dysmorphic symptoms. Those are two diagnoses that we typically go in between when diagnosing people that struggle with these issues, and they become clinically significant as a result of women doing this and men doing this, right? So, for example, body dysmorphic disorder could be a person constantly over obsessing and constantly checking in the mirror and like, oh, well, does this make me look fat? This does this make me look fat? A person that will go back and change several times over and over again before they finally find that outfit that makes them look the way that they think they should be looking, but nothing really changed as an outside observer that you are standing there looking at them, right? Um, and these are cases where there is nothing actually wrong with them to other people on the outside, but they see something wrong in everything, right? Those obsessions around these things that lead to the types of behaviors where they're going to go in there and they're going to adjust and adjust and adjust and adjust and change and change and change and change. As a result, they may be so late for work that they end up losing their job. That's what makes it clinically significant, because the obsessions interfere with their regular day-to-day walk being productive or whatever. So, does everybody have insecurities? The answer is yes. We need insecurities in order for us to become the best versions of ourselves. If we are to be evaluating ourselves honestly every single day, or at least every single week, is what I recommend, we will find that we grow quite well and efficient from seeing the flaws that we present with and correcting those said flaws appropriately. So we don't have to double back on them, right? So if a woman wears makeup, she's still going to be the same level of woman underneath her makeup. Now, I will say there are some exceptions to the rule, but they're so far and few in between that I don't think they're significant enough for conversation. For example, there's a girl called, I think Jessica something. She was on Facebook. Derek Jackson did a review at one point, I think last year. Was it last year? Kale? I think it was last year. He did the review, and this young lady presented, and she was getting off work. She worked in a factory or something to that effect. And, her regular face was like lots of bags underneath them and stuff like that. I'm not going to give you guys my age because I ain't none of your business, but me, I don't have like significant bags. I don't have to go heavy on concealing all the extra products and stuff like that for the sake of covering up anything. So if I take this makeup off, the same thing is going to be here because I only wear a tinted sunscreen or moisturizer or whatever. But so it's not a lot to do. But some women pack on lots and lots and layers of different products to mask more and mask more and mask more. Now, I'm not going to say that only women do this, because it's actually very common for men to wear makeup now too. But I think those women are, like I said, a rarity. It's not a lot of women that know how to go out there and create those miracles in makeup. It's less of them than regular women. Let's put it like that. Okay. Um, Now I think that music and entertainment what we see in society and what we see normalized in the music and entertainment industry in the black and brown community is what typically says what our goals. So I think when men start talking about the fact that women don't know how to cook and women don't have basic skills of attenuation when it comes to them being, married to a man. So you don't know what a man is expecting, don't know how to cater to a man, don't know how to position yourself properly for a relationship, right? When men start to say those things, I think that you have to look at the reality of the music. The same music that you and her are listening to together is probably the same music that's shaping her behaviors and her thought processes. So I think that you have to take accountability for that component, okay? So Cardi B is a person who has had admittedly several surgeries. We talked about Kim Kardashian, even though she wants people to believe that whatever is natural, she hadn't had surgery. She's had several surgeries. And these people push a particular type of image out there. And I think that plays to what they call now pretty privilege, where women feel like, well, you know what, all I have to do is sit and rest in my femininity and the world will come to me. I don't have to really put anything, towards doing anything. Um, there I'm a female doctor. There are several attractive female doctors out here, okay? There are several attractive male doctors out here. We work for a living. Now, I'm not going to say it hasn't gotten us privilege though. Looks get you privilege when you are selected to be on the cover of certain things and represent the company. Whether you decide to take that opportunity or not, you still get selected for those opportunities, and being selected for those opportunities come with bonus checks just for you to give them an audience with your presence, right? So there are some privileges to being attractive regardless of what field you are in. However, I feel like it's not to the extent that that's the thing that is taking away from the way women value what it takes to have themselves be an asset in a relationship to their companion. Some men want a woman who knows how to cook, but some men don't. And to be honest, there are a lot of males out there who can cook just as good as a woman or better because they've been trained to be able to do so. Um I asked the question, what is an average black woman today? Because the first woman that came on and lied and said she was 35, which I don't blame her. I'm 25 again every day. But she was actually 43 or whatever. Or maybe she was, or maybe she wasn't. She mentioned that she was not your average black woman. And she was saying that she plays in a lot of different fields and things like that. I want to know, what is so wrong with being an average black woman? What's wrong with identifying with the black and brown community? Like what's not right about that? What makes it feel unnatural for young women? And I want you guys to share your comments and your perceptions when you go back and watch this video, because I know that I'm not going to be on here as long as I typically am. But I really want to ask that question because I feel like it is definitely important to the conversation. More importantly, how many people are out there actually relying on Kevin Samuels and his advice when he is dilly-dallying and changing? One minute he has this mindset, the next minute he adapts this mindset, the next one he's adopting this one and adapting to these principles, and he's all over the place. So I feel like he's one of those people that contribute to the insecurities of the black women. And as a result, black women don't know what it is that they want out of a relationship, how they can be an asset in a relationship. And they have now gone so far into the extreme trying to fulfill this idea that Kevin Samuels continues to perpetuate. You know, it's like, okay, well, black men are looking for women with this type of body, that type of body, and they know they can't work that out. They can't work out because they never worked out or whatever, and that's probably why they're overweight in the first beginning, right? So instead, they'll go and they'll invest in these surgeries. So investing in these surgeries is not investing in their health, right? But you're telling them that they should invest in their looks physically, right? You're telling them to take away the money that they invest in their nails and their hair and invest in their body. So when you say that, I don't think you're being clear for these women who are clearly confused because they're calling you, right? They're calling you. You're an image consultant. You're a nothing, probably. It's probably a more appropriate terms because image consultant isn't a thing. It just isn't. I'm tired of that rhetoric. But you have no qualifications, which leads me to what my producer and I were discussing earlier today. He was just like, well, wait a minute. This guy is talking about he's doing 3 of these consults a week. Like, is he counseling people? Like, you don't have any qualifications and you're out there rendering some level of therapeutic or realignment services to someone with no background and no underpinnings of education to justify what it is that you're telling these people, and you're giving them your personal perception and that's it. Like, how can that be legal? What I will say is this: for the women that have gone to Kevin Samuels for advice, I think now he puts up this thing about women excluding or waiving their right to privacy as a result of appearing on his show, right? Ladies, stop calling in. Stop calling in. And the other piece is, if he has insulted you so much to where that is detrimental to your secure sense of self, you definitely have grounds to legally pursue a case against him in court. Because at the end of the day, all of us as psychotherapists, life coaches, we all have to have liability insurance. And guess what? Obviously, he doesn't know what that game comes with and what that entails. So if I were a woman that had gone to his show, and as a result of conversations and being constantly insulted, devalued, and called a bitch several times out of my name and all this stuff, then I would definitely pursue legal charges against this guy. I just feel like it's not even a black woman thing. Okay, I feel like this women losing their sense of self is a larger American index kind of thing, because there is no congruence for our men. And so even though Kevin Samuels feel like women are the underpinnings of what's gone wrong in the black community and all that good stuff, yeah, okay. The reality is, a woman looks to a man for guidance and leadership. She trusts a man to guide her and lead her in the right direction by way of his actions, by way of his compassion, by way of his understanding, and of course by way of their interaction and interdependence on one another. So if that's not there, if men are leaving and going in their own direction and they're no longer leaning and depending on the softness per se, the consultations with per se, and the bosom of the woman, this is what we get. You said waiving rights to privacy sounds a few non-disclosure. I agree. I agree. I said the same exact thing, but I think that he definitely needs to be careful as to what he puts on his platform. All of these printed contact things or whatever, because the reality is this. And he start in this video. If you guys go back and watch it, this is the one he did yesterday. In this video, he said, and peace, blessings, and my thoughts are with the family of this young lady. I don't know who she is, but it is what it is. He says that black women have gone so far into this pretty privileged thing where they really feel like they don't have anything to do to add substance to themselves in order to be in a relationship, as long as they look good, blah blah blah. So much as to this one girl, she offed herself. You don't have to be a clinician to know that that is inappropriate for you to say on the internet about a person who took their life as a result of feeling a lack of calibration in your life, or feeling uneasy, or feeling depressed. I I take what I do very seriously. And I take harm to individuals that are under care or not under care of a practitioner, but under distress and in crisis. I take all of these things and the way that people respond to them very seriously. Here's the thing: suicide is a real issue. We deal with it every single day. Life is hard right now. it's very difficult to stay and remain balanced. And I feel like a lot of these women are losing their sense of self because they are going to the internet for approval of outside approval of other people in order for them to feel whole again, because they don't even feel whole. They don't even know where to start because maybe they didn't have mothers in their lives that could teach them these things. Maybe they didn't have parents in their lives and cohesion with one another, cohesively navigating these different areas and teaching these things to them. Or maybe what they were exposed to after they had all that was not positive and accurate and giving them what they needed to go forth and be great and continue to walk their faith amidst their chaos. But what I will say is this: people find themselves in heavy bouts of distress and heavy bouts of depression every single day. And sometimes, matter of fact, one in every 36 seconds, a person commits suicide here in the United States. That's the reality. That's nothing to toy around with. It's nothing to slight. It's not a joke. You're a 50 some odd old man. Grow the fuck up. Literally. Grow up. So if you're going to help these people, help these people. If you're going to be a help for the community that you're from, be a help, not a hindrance. Recognize that there is a need and there is an issue, and you don't recognize that need and issue by way of continuing to belittle women and point out the flaws instead of magnifying the beauties of these women, and then trying to remedy the flaws on the back end, because that's what that's for. Very much like I feel like because Kevin Samuels grew up in this broken home where his mother and his father were not in unison, he's not seeing proper modeling behavior. So he doesn't know what it looks like to stand in unison on the forefront and then go behind doors and correct the issues that are definitely on the surface of the relationship. And in relationships and in healthy families, healthy couples, that's what happens. You may very well stand on the forefront together, hands held and intertwined and all that good stuff, but inside be hurting, and then get to dealing with that hurt behind closed doors because it's nobody else's business, right? You can have a show and you can give people their truth, and you can do that, their truth, right? You can lead them to their truth in a way that is effective and not so degraded. That's just my perception, okay? So the questions that I want you guys to answer as a result of watching this video: have women lost a sound sense of self in America? Hey Liz, how are you? Okay. Also the other question: what is your idea of an average black woman today? What does it mean on average, maybe, to be a black woman, to identify with the black and brown community and be a woman? What does that mean? Does that mean heavy distress? Does that mean it comes with violence? Does it mean it comes with drama? Does it mean it comes with being a baby mama? Does it come with being a sister, a friend, a confidant, a mother, knowing how to cook? What does it mean to be an average black woman today? What are the things that are expected of black women today? Okay. Also, what do you guys think are some healthy investments for balanced and tethered relationships? So what investments are required for healthy relationships? Like, is it your time, your energy, your spirit, creativity, money? What is it? What should people be giving into their relationships, and who should be the person providing those investments? Because apparently the answers are not seated in this guy's videos. Also, I want to empower people who are going through high levels of emotional distress, whether it has to do with your body image, your physical image, your internal image, whatever it is that you're recognizing that's incongruent with what your best self represents, right? I want to encourage you guys to get help when you need help. See something and say something. Call me. You can call me, right? My phone number is 678-468-0442. And if you didn't catch it, just replay the video. Okay. Or if I don't answer the phone, or if you continue to need help and I've not assisted you to the capacity that you needed, because my crisis consults are quite short in duration, You can definitely hang up and call 800-273 talk. And I think talk is 8255. Um, so I will definitely put the numbers up after the fact. But please understand that it is possible that some of the things that these men are saying hold some substance, right, ladies? So the question that the guy that sent me this content asked, he was like, why are black women so obsessed with BBLs when black women are supposed to be like the ideal image of a fat ass? Thus his language. That's not my language. I'm just quoting the message, okay? And so then he said, I think that Kevin Samuels was right in this video. If you click to, I think, 20 something minutes or blah, 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 he talks about how black women are fake in their presentation because they wear everything that's other people's, blah, blah, blah. So I just really can't entertain that. I don't see how men have such a concern with what women do. Um, and they're not your women. So my thing is this: if a person is doing something that you're disinterested in, that means that if it's a part of their regular regimen, it means you're disinterested in them. So why are you worried about what they're doing? Um, Reposition yourself and align yourself with people who fit within the criteria of doing the things that you want them to be doing, right? So you can maybe find a woman that is more appropriate for you. You don't want to find yourself aligned with a woman. You're not going to date a woman that's the complete opposite of what you like. So if you say that you like a woman that's skinny, are you going to go out here and date a thick woman that's curvaceous? Of course not. If you say you like a curvy woman, are you going to go out here and date a skinny woman? Of course not. Why? But personal preference. Regardless of what the future may entail and the fact that the physical looks are going to modify themselves over the course of time and life happens, right? People are not going to align themselves and position themselves and allow a seat at their table to be occupied by somebody that's not qualified. So I think that we have to be people that are worrying about ourselves. Now, does that negate the responsibility of us to address the accountability component as it relates to Black women in the Black community when it comes to them scaling back on physical enhancement and maybe possibly considering investing more in their self development underneath the surface? So, healing their traumas and not walking around with a mask or body armor suit, right? I do think that there are a lot of things that Black women do to their own detriment. I think that instead of actually exercising, I feel like a lot of women will go out and they'll do the waist trainer thing, and they'll wear a waist trainer for hours at a time. I do feel like women will go, not just Black women, but women in general, women will go under the knife several times over. We talked about, started this video off talking about the main issue that he presented, right? Which is the abundance of BBLs. I feel like women will definitely go under the knife many times. And sometimes there's nothing even wrong. You barely got enough body fat to go through with the next surgery. And all of that pain to your body, all of that pain takes you 6 months to heal. And you're basically in a body cast for the whole time. Just exercise. Get a personal trainer. It costs less. It's more invigorating. It makes you feel better over a longitudinal space of time. It's just so much more that it has to offer. I don't understand what's so difficult about calibrating yourself to natural means of acquiring a healthy physical exercise regimen or a healthy weight index and things like that. I don't know. I do think that these are definitely issues in our community, but I think that they're larger. I think that they became issues because the larger context of society normalized it so much that now it's so in reach, right? It's so within reach. And I also feel the same way about the abundance of um the makeup makeovers and things like that and stuff. I just here's what I really feel. Okay. I feel like women of nowadays, women, modern women are becoming a direct competition for transsexual women and drag queens. That's what I feel. because those same surgeries are the surgeries that they require in order for them to transition from a male body to a female body. And I think that you got to look at that real closely when you look at yourself and say, well, I see that I need a little bit of this. So I need a little bit of this. So I need a whatever it is. All of these things that women are doing to themselves, I think that we got to start asking more difficult questions and asking ourselves, so why is it that I feel so heavily disheartened by seeing this part of me that is a natural component of me that was spiritually resonating with me before, that is a part of me being authentically me? Why do I feel in disalignment with what I naturally was meant to be? Right? You said that's why I don't wear makeup 24. People think I'm 16. I have the same thing happen. Um People tell me all the time without when I take off my makeup because there's nothing on my eyes then like they're like, "Oh, you look like a baby." There's no way. It's no way you're the mom, you know. But I think it has to do with the fact that the vast majority of my life I didn't wear makeup. So it's a more recent thing. And even now, I'm still very careful about what I put on my face. So it's a moisturizer and that's it. That's all we're doing. Just not doing nothing else. I'll put the makeup on my eyes because I feel like that is like life and I'm learning how to do it every day. But and it's a whole nother thing. I think it allows me to take my creative expression to a whole nother level. But when I'm talking about makeup, I'm talking about the loads of makeup, the whole facial makeover. You become a different person. Like like that review that Derek Jackson did. What is her name? Jessica something. But she is a stud female. Um by her own omission, right? Admission, who says that she looks like that consistently during the week because she's working, and then on the weekend she gets dolled up and she looks like that. I have no quarrels with this young lady, but I will say this: if I were a guy or a female looking to date her, I would feel catfish too. So I think that we have to be honest. We have to be more authentic with ourselves and the people that we're looking to bring into our center emotionally. You said the black community has to divide by ideology, single, strong, independent women in one community and community led by men on the other side. So why do you think that that's something that has to be done? I see that that's something that's been done already, kind of. Um, and being a single, strong, independent woman doesn't mean that you're not seated to receive a woman. Um, says, oh, thank you so much, Steph. Um, said the amount of full time beat is too much for me, and I don't like the word beat. I think the, I think so too. Like when I first heard that, I was like, why would you want somebody to beat your face? No, ma'am, I'm okay. No, if it takes more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it's not for me. It's not for me because that's my spare time. That's the time that I need to calibrate and wake myself up fully to start my day. And it is what it is. I don't have any other time to give to it. So, um, but that's my way of aligning myself. But that's the one thing that I can say that maybe women can come into alignment to where they understand that there it's a slippery slope when it comes to you doing too much. Not only that, these BBLs are dangerous. I know that we talk about the fact that the survival rate is pretty high, and only about 1 in every 3,000 women are dying as a result of becoming, a BBL recipient. Here's what I'll tell you guys, okay? Liposuction, BBLs, all of that stuff is you're just doing unnecessary surgery to your body. You should not do it. Okay. Don't elect to put yourself under the knife. Excuse me. to to satisfy somebody else, okay? To satisfy somebody else's ideals of what you should or shouldn't be looking like. Find yourself in alignment and incongruence with what you want out of life. Look at yourself and love yourself, okay? Um and I got to be honest. I do feel like women are being misled, and that's the reason that they only invest in their looks versus their education and things like that. But this is also what Kevin Samuel subscribes to. So I don't understand the incongruence in his message. So you can't say one time at 1 minute that women are not being taught to be wives and women are insufficiently investing in their looks as if their looks is all they need and pretty privilege is a thing, right? You can't say that stuff if you've been pushing for all this time that you've been on social media that women need to be an 8 or a 9 as far as looks. Face only. Isn't that what he says? Face only and hair. Face only and your real hair, your real nails, your blah blah blah, right? Um I think to say that the vast majority of women are wearing their real nails and their real hair, I think I'd be spot on. I'm gonna be honest. Cause you can't wear a wig if you ain't got nothing to put underneath. You can't wear extensions if you don't have any hair to, attach it to. Um, of course, I'm wearing a head wrap today, but I definitely love my wigs. I had on a wig earlier today, but I changed wig to wig to wig. In my picture, that is my, what do you call the thing? The icon, the little logo in the corner, whatever. That's all my real hair, my natural face, and just lipstick. So that's just me, naturally. So I don't wear fake lashes or any of that stuff, but I do feel like some women do, you know. Um and that's their thing. If you guys do that, that's on you. I want to know, I'm curious though about the lashes. Like, how much is too much, women? So women are investing in their looks to please other women. Oftentimes they are. I do feel like women are oftentimes, I don't feel like women are in competition with men when they invest in their looks, okay? I'm going to say that because women are not at all trying to satisfy men in the way that they look. They're trying to acquire the attention of men and by way satisfy their sense of self. I think that Kevin Samuel says a lot of things about devaluing selfish behavior. Women, men, all the same. You have to be selfish before you can be selfless. You can't give people all of you if you've not given all of you to yourself first. So these are just basic natural components of individuation and differentiation from your system and segments of society that people have to go through. When you talk about psychological issues, the guy has a lot of psychological issues apparently, but you guys are still following him. You're still listening to and subscribing to his content and ascribing to the same value systems that he has. So for me, I think that if you're calling into his show, you're looking for that type of attention. You said we've been telling black women to take that weave out for decades. Sweetheart, a black woman is not trying to not or engage in wearing weave because of men. Other women as well. So women of all colors wear um, hair extensions. It's not just black women. Says the really long thing. What does that make? That's how much is too much. But what's really long? Like I have seen women. Let me find a picture on the internet to share. Oh, Big Bird, yeah, like back in the day, Sesame Street, Big Bird. I forgot I can't share pictures on this thing, but I feel like he had some of those women on his show, like even today. Like I think that when you guys are putting these eyelashes up here, when your eyelashes touch your eyebrows, Like, I don't know. Let me see if you guys can see mine to get my close up. I don't know. But when your when your lashes touch your brows, that's definitely an extreme. So it's like the eyelashes they put on those little. Why can't women just say that? Why can't women just say that when they look at themselves in the mirror when they put on these, and ladies, please understand, I'm not bashing you. I'm playing to the same beat of the drum of catfish that women you guys make. So I think it's reasonable for men to expect for you to still look like yourself when your makeup and stuff comes off. And if you don't look like yourself when your makeup and stuff comes off, then I think you have to ask yourself the difficult questions of what am I willing to let go or sacrifice in order for me to attune myself and align myself with the right type of male energy? Because obviously, no man wants to be shocked when he wakes up in the morning. Like, what the? That is not what I bought home. You said those are not his beliefs. Those are things that a lot of men already know, but they're scared to talk about because of cancel culture. Oh, it's not that um I don't believe that they're controversial issues. It's the fact that for him, he also subscribes to the same thing. He says that women are delusional if they don't believe and ascribe to those same systems that he's preaching on his channel. Said I've tried them too, but they look crazy. Listen. I have never worn fake lashes until my last husband was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna take you to get your brows done," because I was looking for a place to arch my eyebrows, because I have a lot of brows. Apparently, I have a lot of brows. Okay, and so what'll happen is over time you'll grow like the unibrow thing, right? So, and I do not like the wax strip unless a person is really good. And so, because I don't like the fact that when you got to go over more than one time, ma'am, you just hurt me. You just literally stripped my life. So for me, if I'm in that chair and you got to go over and over and over again, and I think it was like COVID or whatever, right? And nothing was really open. So when he found this one place and he took me, he had already made the appointment. So, when the girl started approaching me and getting I'm terrible. I really am. I'm a really, really basic minimalist when it comes to those kinds of things. Um, just put my eyeshadow on, ma'am, and that's the let me be out of here. But so when she started, she did like micro something, and that hurt even more. And then microblading, or I don't know. But she started that, and that hurt even more. And then she put these lashes on my eye. Before I knew what she was doing, she was like, "Close your eyes," blah blah blah. Eyes are closed the whole time. And then when she put the lashes on me, I was like, "Wait, what are you doing? Wait, what? What are you doing?" I remember looking in the mirror like, "Oh, so how do you get these off?" So I think that, like I said, women have got to be more authentic with themselves. So it's not necessarily about what your dude may want, because some dudes may want that, and they may want to see what you look like with those things. I believe when I first came out, he was like, "Ooh, that's different." And then he was like, "Well, that's sexy because it's still very natural. You can't tell you have them on." Let me tell you something. My eyelids felt like I had a whole car sitting on them. So it's not about what you can tell. It's about what I can feel. Just give me some mascara and let me just go on about my way. So what I'm saying is, I think that these modern day women have more tolerance for these kinds of things, and so maybe that's why they're into those kinds of things. But different generations of women are going to be into different generational norms of things, and that's just a normative thing overall. Now, when men start to meddle in the business of women, that's when we have a problem. You don't want women meddling in your business. How would you like it if women told you not to wear your Beijing? How would you like it if women told you not to wear those tight pants that look like women's pants? How would you like it if women told you not to subscribe to the Italian style of dress and wear flooding suits? There are a lot of things that women could be doing, okay? What if women told you the only men that I think are attractive and the only men are sexy are men with facial hair who have a full beard? Right, right, Liz. Like, I'm telling you. But I often wonder how much is too much though. And men are out here doing body surgeries and body enhancements as well because they can't get the bodies that they want naturally. So all of these supplements that you're taking, muscle milk and all of that, guess what? It's still not natural. It's not natural. Right. Right. Or line their hair up. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if women started to kind of get into these petty conversations around the presentation of a man and started to say these things that we feel but don't talk about? There are lots of things that women feel about men. Okay. Let me tell you something. I could talk all day about the various conversations that we have. You said women does tell us not to sag our pants. When we tell you not to sag your pants, it's because that's something that we're taking part in. So that's like nudity. That's public displays of nudity. So that has nothing to do with you telling a woman to not wear weave or to take off her makeup or her nails. Somebody asking you to have better hygiene and to not show your underwear. That that's and to me, like, that's common sense. Like, why would you have on underwear if you're gonna show them anyway? If you're gonna put them on public display, then just don't wear any pants. If you can't fit the pants, don't put them on. Walk around in your drawers, and if it's okay, it's okay, right? So you have to make it make sense to me. I think that a lot of things that young men these days do is illogical. It's nonsensical. So you can't continue to behave in a way or dress in a way and move in a way that doesn't align with the fact that it makes sense. Makeup isn't something that reveals something that's inappropriate. Sagging your pants reveals your ass cheeks. Like, and oftentimes you have, you know, defecation stains in your underwear and stuff like that, and sweat stains in your underwear in the back. And you guys can't see that, but we can. And that's disgusting. You said the Joker sagging their pants should not be allowed to reproduce, period. Exactly. But also, you're a man, you should have that conversation with men. Because even though I feel like, women telling men, hey, this looks disgusting, I feel like that's something that's important. I don't feel like it's taken well by men. And they're like, they consider that women meddling in male's business. So you said tell women to stop showing their breast in. Oh, we do. We do. We do. But see, that's the thing. That's the difference in men and women. When women are in public and we see a woman showing their breasts, or we see a woman showing their ass cheeks and booty metered out is all and all that good stuff, we will approach that woman and we will say these things to them. Also, you see Monique has been ridiculed for publicly having something to say about the presentation of young women in public spaces. Okay, this is something women will have no problem with doing. Men have a problem with doing these things, though. But you want to call yourself men. That's what separates boys and men. Men are able to set the standard, and so are women. Boys can't do that because they're children. So they're still trying to find themselves, and they're still following along with whatever it is. Go along to get along, gang. Kwame Brown. Shout out to that guy. So I see no problem with men speaking their minds, but they're scared. Then get upset that women are voicing ours. We aren't scared. Exactly. Exactly. And I feel like men should be able to hold spaces and say whatever they want to say. You know? You said the long fingernails that women have is a sign of poor personal hygiene. Yeah, I feel like if they're not maintained, that's a possibility. My nails grow extremely long, but I do take care of them. I make sure that they are treated with solar powder and gel. all that good stuff. But my preference is to not wear false nails. So it is what it is. Since you have a tattoo on your breast, we can't take you serious. Well, you don't have to. Um, I have a lot. I mean, I have a lot of tattoos actually. That's not the only one, you know. But so I feel like when you have a conversation with those people who you see misrepresenting you in public, I feel like what should be a part of the conversation is what the standard is, right? And why that standard is set. Because I think that oftentimes these young men, they fail to take heed to the things that older men say and the things that older women say, because they feel like, you know what, this doesn't make sense, right? And if it can't make sense, then they're not going to subscribe to a different way of behaving or representing themselves. You have to make it make sense for them. You said I've come across too many men with long dirty nails. That's unhygienic too. I agree. I agree. Yeah. And I feel like there are some men who don't value getting manicures and things like that, or getting pedicures. I feel like feet hygiene, personal hygiene around all areas is essential for men and women. And I encourage men to get their hygiene balanced and make sure that their hygiene is taken care of and up to par. I do feel like sometimes I don't know, men feel like it's more feminine for them to even be in these spaces because women are there, but they'll go to a barber shop and women go to barbers too. So I don't know. Says I have one pet peeve about a man's attire, and that is a man wearing socks with sandals or flip flops. Oh, Liz, you're so petty. I love it. I did think that was odd the first time I saw it. I'm not gonna lie, but I can't necessarily say it's a pet peeve. I kind of just side eye, you know. Because then what's the purpose of having on sandals, right? But it is what it is. What are some of the investments you guys feel like are required for a healthy relationship when it comes to investing in your physical appearance and emotional stability? Like, can we go back to that question, producer? And do you guys feel like women are misled by people like Kevin Samuels and therefore they only invest in their looks now? What's that other guy that was on Kevin Samuels' show that day? Alpha male strategist. Yeah, because also him. I mean, because apparently, if you're out to get him, your body would be a main thing that you would invest in, because he's only looking to. I think his logo is "fuck women to sleep" or something. I don't know. But I just feel like these are things we have to ask. We need to start having difficult conversations around in the Black and brown community. Let's go back to that comment that mentioned my tattoo. Let's talk about tattoos, because I do feel like sometimes tattoos can be too much. Like we talk about BBLs, tattoos can be excessive. Sometimes people can go to the huge extreme, right? And as a result, yeah, this one. As a result, having the tattoos in places where they can be seen when you're at work and stuff like that, it can definitely appear to be unprofessional. So let's say instead of my tattoo being of a rose, right? Let's say my tattoo was Thug Nation. I think it's an illogical argument anyway, because when I'm at work, you can't see my tattoos anyway. But you know, it's the weekend, and but even if, right, let's say it was Thug Nation, and it said it right here, because this is the point of contention, right, for young people now. You guys get tattoos here, you get them here on your face, all of that stuff. So my thing is, I don't think tattoos are a sign of professionalism in certain occupations. However, I will say, if I'm going to get a tattoo by a tattoo artist, I would want to see everybody in that tattoo parlor with tattoos. A lot of them, probably everywhere. And they make decent money, more than decent money. They make doctor money, lawyer money, our money. Okay. So, am I going to say that it's unprofessional across the board? Probably not. You know, I mean, I'm retired military officer, so obviously it was accepted, right? I didn't have to get like any waivers or anything for continued service. But there are some tattoos that are flagged. Um and you can't even serve the country as a result of having them. So, you know, and when I joined the army, it was a long time ago. We still had BDUs that rolled up. So you also couldn't have like the tattoos here and stuff like that. So, because your BDUs would roll up to like right here. So you can't have them, it can't be shown in your uniform. You said tattoos and piercings can be overdone. My youngest asked if they could get their nose pierced. I'm still thinking on it. And I feel like it's a hard decision. It's a hard. Hey, Stranger Talk Live, how are you? I feel like it's a hard decision to make because you want to make sure that you advise them well, but you also need to allow people to be expressive in their becoming, you know, in their personalities as they're shaping them. I think two of my kids now have tattoos. It says Black America like likes endless debates about everything. That's why the best brains will just leave. I don't know. Um, Says I have a solution. Let the pants saggers weave and lash queens have each other. Real men should only check for feminine and inspirational women who take the time to maintain their natural hair. Okay, okay. I think that that's a interesting, awesome solution. So what happens when the men have a tendency to want those same said women that are in that pool of separation? Because I feel like that's what happens anyway. And that's why I say that males and females need to stop the whole comparison between one another and stop the directionality to which they're going head to head with one another or whatever on these issues. Simply because at the end of the day, what I feel like is the real issue here is a lack of security in self and positioning in a relationship not properly seated. So us, you know, I see, and I talked about that. Why would you even be having a conversation that with someone who doesn't deserve a seat at your table? Like, I can honestly say, like, I've never dated a guy who smoked anything. I've never dated a guy who sagged his pants. I've never dated a guy who had goals in his mouth. Like, I could go on and on and on about the things that are no goes for me and never have been seated at my table, not even advertised or marketed in the same hemisphere with me. You understand? So I think that the thing is, you create your chaos, right? So if you think that these women are so extreme, that means you're shopping in the wrong pool of women. Does that make sense? Um with online dating being a prevalent thing that people engage in every single day now, essentially you can filter out everything that is an imperfection in a woman, that is an imperfection in a man. You don't have to be, unless they catfish you, you don't have to be amidst all of that, is what I'm saying. So continue to share your insights, and I really want to know how you guys feel about these BBLs, because that's probably like the point of contention for my viewer that sent me this topic and stuff. Do you think women are going too far, and do you think that they're having too many Brazilian butt lift surgeries? Do you think that they're doing this as a result of misquoting or misconceiving what it is that the men that they want? Do you feel like do you feel like there is like a bridge between effective communication for black men and black women, or men and women in general? And also, how do you feel about interracial dating? I would love to know how you guys feel about interracial dating, because at the end of the day, I think that there is an overall consensus that black men are being lost, are yeah, being lost to white women, and black women are suffering this tragic loss of their black men because black women can't become what it is that black men want. But at the end of the day, if a black man finds himself in the company of, at the seated table of, a white woman or Hispanic woman, whatever kind of woman he wants, right? He should have the right to seat himself at that table and move forth, marry that woman, provide his legacy with that woman, whatever he wants to do with that woman. He should have the right to do that. Likewise, women who are black American, that you can seat yourself at a man's table who is white, Italian, French, African, Asian, whatever it is that you want to. It has nothing to do with the men in that are of your race. So you said gold teeth are a no go for a man's appearance for me too, Dr. Jefferson. Like I can go look, the list goes on and on and on. I feel like you gotta have realistic goals when it comes to when you're seating yourself at the table of other people, and also when you're conveying what you want from the opposite sex, so they don't get it misconstrued and you don't lead to their instability in life. You said I agree with the topic on the screen. It's mainly due to lack of mental value or mentally being rerouted for some other distraction to some other distraction. We talked about some of those distractions. We talked about some of the things that women typically do as they move into a place of insecurity and they're not seated in their secure sense of self as it applies to them being in, meaningful relationships with their suitors or potential suitors. We talked about a lot of that stuff. So you definitely got to go back and replay the video from the beginning. So says goals or trophies. I used to hear that. I've heard that before, but because it's a lot of men that I served in the military with that had goals, and I was just like, hmm, what's that about? But for me, it's like whatever, you know. So you said the black hand side says I have no problem with tattoos as long as they are in good taste, preferably in areas that can be covered. Right. That's how that's my thing too. I think tattoos are a sexy attribute to the human body. I know a lot of people who are Christian feel like it's a degradation of the body and a detriment to your sense of self because you're, you know, what do they say? Becoming defiant against the eyes and laws of God and all these things. And you're not supposed to, yeah, it's a satanic value. You're not supposed to put tattoos on your body because your body is the Lord's temple and all that good stuff. I mean, to each his own. If that's your belief system, please don't feel like I am devaluing your belief system. It's just not mine. Um, so it is what it is. Think that everybody, especially here in on this channel, we're about everybody having their independent views that guide and shape their movements and their ideals and things like that. So I'm willing to have the difficult conversations, the conversation about the elephant in the room. I do feel like there was one comment that was mentioned that played to the fact that men have a problem with in general just addressing some of these issues that are talked about by Kevin Samuels on his channel. And let me say this, okay? It's very important to have the difficult conversations. It's very important to have a person to be your spokesperson sometimes when you're in a group of people that feels oppressed, or even if you're a group of people who oppresses yourself. However, you have to understand that having someone to speak on your behalf or having someone that represents your value systems, it comes with a great deal of weight. And you have to make sure that everything that person stands for is in alignment with what you stand for, because the moment they don't, and the moment that thing is so extreme, people who you value and who have added value to you over the course of a lifespan, those people will disseminate real quick because they don't want to be associated with foolishness. So you have to make sure that the person you're choosing as your representative is representative of you and everything that you stand for. Says it's pride in all things to look up the origin. That's the only way we grow instead of stereotyping amongst ourselves, you know. Yeah, I don't believe in the whole stereotypical movement of people and things and relationships. I think that we have to look at the science of people and human behavior. There are several origins for several different things, and I think it's interesting how some people want to coin a term or coin a development or something like that. You don't know if another person across the world was coming up with the same idea at the same time that you were, but in a separate culture, in a different separate country on the other side of the world, right? So I think that these are very possible things and they happen every single day. That's why we have plagiarism checks and things like that, because it's about whoever makes it to the board first with the information. And we understand that. It says, I love the fact that you support people living a full, honest, and happy life. Well, I appreciate that, Liz. I think that you should live free, be free, and do whatever your spirit aligns you with, um, as it seeds your purpose, right? So I think that nothing in life happens not for nothing. I think all of your trauma has a reason and a season. I think that all of the experiences that you have in life have a reason and a season, and it's up to us to keep exploring through life why these things happen, why we're seated in these positions, and what we can learn from the experiences that life gives us. So, um, but I do have to ask the question. I have to ask the question, what's too much, right? So where do we draw the line when it comes to physical modification of self? When it comes to when do we say it's all right for the other person who's trying to date that person to say, I'm being catfished, right? When is it okay? When is the argument justified? Right. So I guess that's my question. When is it justified for a man to say, okay, these women are just super synthetic? Okay. So, like I said, I have no problem. Whatever you choose to do with your life, folks, live your life, be free, be a positive impact on the society around you and the people that are connected to you, at a distance. But when you find yourself confused, try not to disrupt other people's sense of self and try to impose your value systems onto them. When you find yourself equally traumatized, try not to do that stuff. Try to live a balanced enough life where you can respect the fact that somebody else believes in the thing other than what you believe in, and that's okay. They don't have to subscribe to your value systems. I'm not here to have you guys subscribe to my value systems. I'm only here to have accountability conversations about things and issues that perpetuate negative cycles in the black and brown community. So these are things that lead to unfair stereotypes, unfair classifications and overgeneralizations and stuff like that. These are things that draw negative attention to our community. So it's not necessary that I have a personal vested interest or dog in the fight. I have an interest in expanding the capacity of people to understand one another and to be more compassionate and loving and yielding to one another in their various relationships that they build in life, whether professional or personal. So, in order for you to get to a greater level of being yourself authentically and stepping into the grace of life authentically, you have to be able to acknowledge some things as truths, even if they're difficult, you know? Like it just is what it is. We want everybody to be transparent with us, but we don't want to be transparent with them, right? So I think that we have to move away from the double standards of life and move to a more authentic presentation of our being. But I appreciate you guys. Big shout out to the chat. You guys are always super supportive. Thanks so much for those people who donated earlier to my PayPal and to my Cash App. You guys are freaking amazing. I know I'm not monetized on this station yet, but it does make a difference and it does make me feel valued in this space because, like I said, I am transitioning to YouTube. If you guys want to check out way old episodes of Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson and some of the issues that I've combated and talked about over the course of years, you can definitely do that wherever you listen to podcasts because I'm on every podcast station. Just ask them to pull up Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson, and boom, there we are, and there I am, and here are all the topics. And typically, I do upload this content to all of those platforms too, but you probably got to wait for it for like a week or whatever. Cause like, I'm not a techie. I am not a techie. Please understand that also, although I am a psychotherapist, in no way does this constitutes for you getting the help that you need and navigating the very difficult issues of your life that you need to give dedicated attention to. Find yourself a therapist, find yourself a wellness coach, whatever it is that you need, and recalibrate your energy. Just don't go to Kevin Samuels because that's just not his specialty. And I'm not sure if the guy has liability insurance because he doesn't qualify anyway. But that is all I've got. Live well, live free, be well, and be authentically you, you guys. That's all I got. See you guys later. Bye.
Who alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I'll rip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.